How's it going, guys? So I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. I was thinking about making a Christmas video, but I was like, you know what? Let me just take a break from YouTube for Christmas. I hope everyone got everything they wanted. Hope you got good gifts and enjoyed spending time with your family. Hope you didn't get any shitty gifts like AEW tickets or anything like that. But if you did, enjoy. I don't know. But anyway, guys, here's your Smackdown review. So, I did what I said I was going to do. I didn't do a Raw review. And I don't really think I really missed out on too much with Raw. I checked out a few things like the Jason Riker match. And, they already made him and Elias look like goofballs. The Lucha House Party, Anyway, let's just get into this. We've got a lead-in here now. So we had the Saints Vikings game that led in on Fox, Christmas Day lead-in. So this was an opportunity here, and you can see the way how they started off the show, that they had a big world title match planned. They had Roman Reigns there, so all the chess pieces were in the right places. So this is going to be the lead-in. They're going to try to get some new fans or win back some of the old ones. And this is a good idea. At least it's better than what AEW does, where they're just comfortable having their own goofball fans and they don't want any new ones. They're not interested in acquiring any new fans or winning over any WWE fans. They're just content doing what they're doing. So at least WWE still has somewhat of a business mindset, a ratings mindset. But here's the problem with this. You got Roman Reigns, you got a cage match, you got a world title match. So I could see, probably people will argue this should be the main event on the show, but they're doing something for ratings. So I can't really bash them on that. Just so we could fit into a construct of what's more important on a wrestling show, world title match going last. So, but you could see why they would do this. So I can't fault them for it. The one thing I can fault them for is who they picked for the opponent here, which was Kevin Owens. So let me get this straight. So I don't know what was going through their head here. They're wise enough to have Roman Reigns be the world champion. Reigns is going to lead things off. Some people are going to see Reigns and go, ooh, look at this guy. Oh, this guy's part of the Samoan family. Ooh, he's related to The Rock and everything. And, I'm not sure if they even got that line in on commentary, but it didn't even really matter. Because someone's going to take a look at Kevin Owens and they're going to be like, what the hell is going on in this wrestling? Who is this guy? Who is this fat oaf? He looks like a slob. And they're going to turn it off. Now, this match, I saw people were praising it, saying it was a good match. So, I will say this. Not that they didn't do good work in there, not that they didn't put their bodies on the line, but, Kevin Owens, once again, kicking out of his spear. It was like the same story like TLC. He's the unbeatable fat slob. And, I was thinking about something for a minute. Because after I watched this match, I was actually watching some, old stuff on the network. And, Mick Foley was on there. So I was like, oh, this should be an interesting comparison. So I'm going to talk about this when I do my SmackDown review. And so here I am doing that very conversation. So, Mick Foley, not a guy that you would say was in shape. You could even use the word fat to describe him. This guy was out of shape, but somehow he's one of the most popular wrestlers, one of the most popular WWE superstars of all time. And why is that? And why is someone like Kevin Owens not a draw, but Mick Foley was? And the simple fact of the matter is, the charisma was stronger. Not that Kevin Owens is a bad talker. I've already said, if there is one strength that Kevin Owens has, if there's one thing that's good about that guy, is that he's not bad on the mic. He's capable of talking. He's capable of showing some energy on the mic. But there's nothing ever really being said that's that interesting. And maybe you could chalk that up to the writing. You could chalk that up to, him having to go off of a script. I have no idea. But whatever the case may be, if it was Mick Foley being in the right place at the right time and whatever have you, but also Mick Foley he looked better. He looked more like he belonged in the WWE at this time. You know, he looked, he had a presence to him. You know, and you could say there's a lot of similarities that Kevin Owens is willing to put his body on the line, just as Mick Foley was. Maybe not to the extremes as Mick Foley. We haven't seen Kevin Owens plummeting off the top of a cage, you know, like Mick Foley. But, you know, Kevin Owens, even in this match, you know, just with the fisherman buster off the top, just this, you know, big swirling dangerous move and all the things we've seen him do over the years. But, you know, that's what's funny about it. You could draw the lines, you know, of trying to say, like, who does someone remind you of? Because everyone gets compared to somebody now, right? Because no one is getting over in WWE or in AEW, you know, mind you. So everyone always draws these lines back to the past, and they go like, oh, well, why did this guy get over, but this one couldn't? You know, even though they have similarities, you know? How did an athletic, cocky heel like Dolph Ziggler not get over like Shawn Michaels, who, you know, basically had the same type of character and same level of athleticism? And you could argue who was more athletic, but you get the picture. And it's because, you know, they actually did things with these guys. They actually protected them. You know, they didn't have them go up and down. You know, oh, 1 minute they're world champion, the next minute they're IC champion, and, you know, going all around the board where people don't even know what to think of them, and they're not on the show 1 week. And so you didn't have to worry about that. You know, now you do. So people are coming in from the football game, and they're seeing Kevin Owens, and, you know, and they're just like, what the fuck is this? And they're going to just turn it off. And, you know, so he's kicking out of the spear. And that's not the only thing. To win this match, Jey Uso has to handcuff Kevin Owens to the cage, and Roman Reigns walks out the door. And I'm saying to myself, are you kidding me? Kevin Owens, you know, he has to be tied down in order for the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, to be able to walk out of this. You know, and you know, they're doing like a dramatic finish. He won't walk down the steps, and I'm like, okay, so maybe he won't win the match that way. No, and they go with it. They do that, you know. So it's a heel finish. So you know, people will make the argument, oh, okay, well, you know, Brad, you know, you've said in the past that heels don't wrestle like heels, and they should cheat to win, and there were too many clean finishes, and, you know, and there was for a time. You know, it's also, you know, a wrestling world now that's filled with, you know, roll-ups and small packages and everything. So you could say, oh, well, this was a unique finish. The thing was, this finish really hurt Roman Reigns, much like it hurt him at TLC. That everything but the kitchen sink has to be thrown at Kevin Owens. And the only way that Roman Reigns, the whole leader of the Samoan family, you know, just as I said, the cousin of The Rock, you know, Jey Uso is not living up to the family's name, so he's getting beat down. But he has to have Jey Uso handcuff Kevin Owens. Like, he can't take care of the fat boy by himself. You know, this character that they've given to Kevin Owens, or this persona, whatever you want to refer to it as, of him being unstoppable. You know, the only thing that should be unstoppable about Kevin Owens is him, you know, and a box of donuts. Like, nothing should be able to stop him from getting to that box of donuts. But like this, you know, when it comes to him versus Roman Reigns, like, are you kidding me? That the only way that they could have, like you want to put stock in Reigns. You want us to, like, take this guy seriously as him being unstoppable. And yeah, you know, that they haven't had him lose on TV or anything like that. And that's all fine and well. But could I ask a question? Like, how are we really supposed to take Reigns seriously when he can't even beat a guy that looks like Kevin Owens? And I understand there's people out there that feel that Owens has credibility, and that they feel that, like, this guy actually deserves to be where he is. Like, there's people that had no problem at TLC with him getting up from, like, being thrown through 1,000 tables and having everything but the kitchen sink thrown at him, you know, which was what happened here. And I'm just saying, it looks ridiculous. Like I'm saying, you have to handcuff the guy to the cage in order to actually win the match. You know, and they're supposed to be building up Reigns like he is a monster heel that no one can stop him. Well, he didn't really look like a monster heel, and he didn't really look like the Samoan mob boss that he's supposed to be, the Samoan godfather. Instead, it really did. It made him look pathetic. And, you know, having Kevin Owens say to him, "Oh, you can't keep me down, bitch," and Roman Reigns steps down. I don't know, it really made Reigns look very pathetic. So if anyone did stay from the football game to watch this and saw that, they were like, what is going on with this? Like, all of it just looked really stupid. And so, you know, like I said, to say like, did they do a good job in the match, like wrestling wise? Yeah, I guess. But everything else was a mess. So how can you really say you enjoyed this? You know, unless you are in that camp where you feel like Kevin Owens deserves to be in this spot. But for everyone else, such as myself, I don't think so. I think that this just looked absolutely hideous. Next up, we've got Charlotte and Asuka. They're in the ring. They're cutting a promo. And out comes Carmella, Bayley, Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks. Everyone comes out, and this is like the point where I start getting a headache. I absolutely hate when they do this type of stuff, when everyone just comes out all at once and they try saying their piece, and somehow, some way, this gets morphed into a triple threat women's tag team title match. First of all, like, I don't know if any of these girls have ever teamed together, but I know one thing. They're not actual tag teams. As a matter of fact, Sasha Banks is a women's champion herself, just like Asuka. First of all, I don't understand. You know, you got like Charlotte with what, like 10 women's tag title runs, and you know, this is ridiculous. I've even said it during my TLC review, and I've said it numerous other times. You know, that's too much in too short of a amount of time to have her win that many titles. The only difference is when I complain about it, I'm actually a Charlotte fan. I actually think Charlotte does deserve to be like a champion in there. She deserves to be the head of the women's division. I'm not a big fan of the women's division, as you all know, but I'm saying, like, but Charlotte really exemplifies as someone who deserves to be there, unlike Sasha Banks and a lot of these other girls in here. You know, I've even said my piece even about Bianca Belair. Like, I don't know. You know, people talk about this girl being something special, and you know, she definitely has a look to her, but you know, I don't know. She's in there tripping over her ponytail half the time, and I just this whole thing with her, the EST thing, and they think this is clever, you know, because the strongest, the fastest, you know, but they say it too much and it's not catchy. Like they think like this is a know your role, shut your mouth, you know, and that's the bottom line, have a nice day type of thing, and you know, and they keep saying these things over and over. You know, and first of all, like, you know, at least she stopped saying it, but it's still like on her ring attire. The ding dong thing from Bayley, like, holy shit. Like, these are just some hideous catchphrases if I ever did see them or hear them. But let's talk about this match. Like, how is this even happening? Like, all these girls just thrown randomly together. Like, they have women's tag titles, and they don't have tag teams. You know what I mean? You made these things, what was it, like 2 years ago? And they're complete, like, jokes of belts. Like, this is just, you know, first of all, you know, you could make the argument that belts are just props, but I mean, this kind of solidifies that argument. These are just props. Like, why is Charlotte coming back, like it's saying, after winning all these belts, and she's coming back just so she could win these titles? I don't get it. Like, you know, like, why is she not coming back to challenging Asuka, to come back to challenge Sasha? You know, why is she coming back to win tag titles? You know, and they beat an actual, like, team that was tagging together for a while. It doesn't make any sense to me. They randomly, and they're putting the other women's champion randomly with Bianca Belair. Like, none of these girls had anything in common. They have nothing to do with one another. You know, they have little interlocking feuds. I guess that was the point. But it really just showed that these belts were a joke. And that they shouldn't be even wasting time with this. You know, just so they could get more women's content onto their show. Instead of doing that, like, you know, these belts, like, they shouldn't even exist. If you're not going to have tag teams, what is the point of even having these belts? It's an inconvenience. You have to, like, book things around these belts because they're there and you have to use them, but you would be better off. You know, you have 2 women's titles. That's not enough. It's not like people are so crazy about this women wrestling where, oh, we got to have all these things. But that's the way how it's been for years now. They got to have their own Royal Rumble. They got to have their own Survivor Series match. Everything has to match up with the men. You know, luckily, you don't have to have the same amount of women's matches that you have with guys' matches. But you know, when they make these matches long, that's another thing, just like this one. I mean, come on. This is just ridiculous. They trot them all out there. They all have to say their piece. And then it just results in a random match that doesn't even prove anything. Charlotte and Asuka retain. The Street Profits are backstage. And they give Sami Zayn a gift. You know, Zayn screams, "Not funny," you know, because they give him... that's an actual real shirt. The one that says, "I am the Intercontinental Champion." They put a piece of tape over it that says, you know, "I was the Intercontinental Champion." This is supposed to be funny, I think. I mean, they're really putting these guys in very unfunny spots and promos, Street Profits. You know, and this is what they're doing, by the way. Like, these are the tag champs. They're hanging out backstages, goofing around, doing ridiculous skits that I don't even know who, you know, it's the plastic cups. One week, it's this, like, you know, a few weeks later. Is anyone laughing? Does anyone legitimately find these guys funny? I'm really curious. Let me know in the comments. Daniel Bryan defeats Jey Uso. I guess people are right. They're, you know, trying. I guess this is somewhat of a way of building up to a Daniel Bryan Roman Reigns match. You know, you had Jey Uso attack him before the bell, but Bryan hits the running knee and it ends it. You know, Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan, I mean, it would definitely be better than Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns at this point. I don't know, but, you know, like, Daniel Bryan, like, is this guy in any position to be in a world title match? Like, this is another guy, like, he came back from being retired, you know, and yeah, they did give him the world title and he did have his WrestleMania match, but man, they made sure with this guy that, like, I don't know what happened. He is nowhere at the top. I know he's on the writing team. It doesn't seem like he's doing it. That's something that I heard. That, like, they're saying that Edge did not work. He's not working out on the writing team. He's not doing a very good job. And Daniel Bryan is. No one's doing a good job on the writing team. What's good that anyone you could say is doing a good job? This is, they're, as far as I'm concerned, they're both doing a lousy job, if any of their ideas are even making it to the show in the first place. But everyone's saying that Daniel Bryan's doing so much of a better job. I don't know. What did he write? I would have to see, like, what was better. I mean, it would really be like, what is worse? That would be a more accurate way of saying it, because it's all bad. We'll just have to see what is not as good, we could say. But anyway, if they are setting him up, I mean, that's all fine and well. I'll have to see how it all turns out, because as far as I'm concerned, everything is just going to shit like normal with this company. I'm not going to get excited for anything. And like I said, this guy came back from a career-threatening injury. It was more than career-threatening. His career ended, and he came back. And this is how they're treating him. Random matches. There's There wasn't really any fanfare after he returned. They threw him back into old feuds. They wasted time. He won the world title, and then after that, they just dropped him back down again. It's like there's no hope for anyone in this. Like I'm saying, look what they're even doing to Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns, this is like something that was starting to get over, and they're already ruining it. Just like everything. Everyone's, oh, the Fiend. Oh, you shouldn't say that they're going to ruin the Fiend. And, they pretty much have. I did like the TLC thing that they did with him and Orton, but that's besides the point. Also, yeah, that's another thing that they ruined. They had Bray Wyatt tweeting right after that. And Randy Orton also tweeting right after that. So like nothing is sacred. So if you might have been wondering, like, oh, well, if you enjoyed the TLC Fiend and Orton stuff so much, why didn't you do the Raw review to see what the follow-up was? Well, you already saw what the follow-up was, and it wasn't good. So you kind of see why I didn't even bother. Then we've got our main event. It's Sami Zayn and Big E in a lumberjack match, and Big E finally regains the Intercontinental Championship after, what has it been, like 6 years? Good, fine, and well. I didn't really care, to tell you the truth. I know I've been singing Big E's praises for a while now. I said that they should have Big E go off on his own, like, 3 years ago, but it happened it happened at the point where I didn't even care anymore, and that's the point where I am at now. Like it's like, okay, yeah, so he won it, so okay, so he'll go on, he'll defend the belt for a little bit, he'll eventually lose it, and then somewhere down the line he'll probably end up back with the New Day. That's what I'm saying. That's what's gonna happen. They did the same thing with Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, where everyone just goes all over the place. They meet back up again, and nowhere really ends up elevating at all. There's like little illusions of elevation from time to time, but everyone eventually ends back up at square one, and that's exactly where I know they're going to go with Big E. And in this match, too, it was ridiculous. Again, the Lumberjacks, they're all brawling for no reason. Like, seriously, like what even happened there? Like, just all of a sudden, like, someone gets pushed into somebody and everyone just erupts into a big brawl. Like, half these guys haven't even ever interacted with each other, but it all leads to a big fight. It just looked silly. It looked goofy. It looked like a 24/7 type of scenario, at least people weren't chasing each other around. But yeah, so good for Big E and everything. If this leads to some entertainment with Big E and the singles run, and they do end up getting away from the, like I said, first of all, drop everything with the New Day attire and all that. Get away from that garbage. Like, just shed all semblance of New Day from Big E. That's what I would say. And just, make him now like the Intercontinental Champion, that he is not, Big E, like, tag team wrestler guy anymore. And the thing is, okay, now that Sami Zayn's title run is at an end, the thing is, at least Sami Zayn had a character, and he was actually playing the character kind of well. All the stuff that he was involved in wasn't always funny, like the Slammy, the Sammy Awards, Slammy Awards, parody. Like, not all the stuff is that great, but the guy does try, what he is given to try to get it over, to try to make it as best as possible, and I appreciate that. So kind of like, that was another thing, like, they took the title off of him, and it's not like they've really had a lot of fire behind Big E, really, like, leading into this title win, like, so that's why it kind of just feels, very underwhelming. But, we will see, like we always do, where this goes. So anyway, guys, I hope you all enjoyed the review. Please subscribe if you haven't already. My subscriber count, once again, is it's all over the place. It's up and down, all around, from side to side. You know, like, I don't get it. It's like YouTube does not want me to consistently get over 7,000. Like, they're just like, oh, you're past it. And sometimes, like I told you, like the other day, once again, it said like 7,000. Zero. It said 7, comma 002, and then I check again at night, and then it says 6999. Like what is going on? Like I don't know if it's people unsubscribing, resubscribing. There's glitches. I don't know what's going on, but everyone just check to see if you're subscribed already. Really getting like sick of seeing that. It's like really annoying. And anyway, I want to thank all my patrons for your continued support. And thanks again for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.